In this video, you'll learn how to create a robot using assemblies, subassemblies, wheel mounts, C-frames, and more. A subassembly is two or more parts, or assemblies, joined together to create a new part. An example of a subassembly is a robot chassis. A chassis consists of more than one part, or assembly. Subassemblies help you organize parts of a model. Let's create a wheel mount using various parts. First, open a new assembly file and use the Insert Component tool to insert the following parts: one wheel assembly, one wheel bracket, two bushings, one bolt, and one nut. To join the parts, use the Mates feature. To place a concentric mate between one of the bushings and the bolt, click on the outer surface of the bolt and the inner surface of the bushing. Then place three more concentric mates: between the bolt and the wheel assembly, between the bolt and the second bushing, and between the bolt and the nut. Next, place two coincident mates between the two bushings and the sides of the wheel. Now, make the bolt and the wheel bracket flush. Create a coincident mate between the bolt head and the side of the wheel bracket. Lastly, create a concentric mate between the bolt and the holes on the wheel bracket. Click the surface of the bolt and the inner part of the mounting holes in the wheel bracket. To finish up, place a coincident mate between the outer surface of the bushing and the inner surface of the wheel mount. Then we simply have to drag our nut to the appropriate position to complete our subassembly. Save the assembly files as wheel assembly to use later. The next task is to create the frame of the robot. First, create a new assembly file for the frame. You can use C-frames and several other parts to create the assembly that supports the center of the robot. Using the Insert Components tool, insert the following parts: one C-frame, two corner mounting brackets. To mate our base, first place a coincident mate between the leftmost hole on the corner extrusion to the second hole on the C-frame. Then place a coincident mate between the outer face of the extrusion and the inner face of the C-frame. Lastly, place a parallel mate between the left flat surface of the extrusion and the top face of the C-frame. Repeat this process to attach another bracket to the opposite side of the C-frame. Using the same mates, we can go ahead and complete our outer rectangular base by using the outer C-frames, short C-frames, and corner extrusions. If we want, we can use the C-base triangle assembly in the package provided. Now that we've created the wheel and base assembly, we'll assemble them together to create a final assembly. To do so, create a new assembly project, import our base and 4 copies of our wheel assembly. Then we'll place 2 concentric mates between the holes on our wheel mount and the base. Lastly, place a coincident mate between the top surface of the mount and the bottom surface of the base. Now repeat the same steps for the other 3 wheels and we'll have completed our robot base. In this lesson, we learned how to create the sub-assemblies of our wheel and the base assembly by using the various tools and mates in SOLIDWORKS. We also completed the final assembly of our robot base using the sub-assemblies created previously.